Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited. Today, we're talking about the key to a love of learning culture in your family and in your homeschool. You guys, this is going to be so important. I'm going to give you this key is something that you want to write down. You want to put it on a couple of post-it notes. You want to put it all over your house. That's how important this is. Okay. This is going to be super exciting. So make sure that you really setting some time right now to check in with me, to not multitask, and to get really ready to take in this key to a love of learning culture. When we all start homeschooling, there's this what I call, you guys know, the educational should on your shoulder. If you don't know what the educational should is, go back into the podcast Homeschool Success with Cami Wanis and listen to episode number 6. Episode number 6 is all about the educational should and how to overcome it. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today, but we all come in with this idea of like we think we know what learning is and what school is, right? You guys, are you ready? Are you ready to learn about this? Because this is our idea coming in to really learn about this box checking mentality that we have. We come in with this idea that school is a certain thing and school is where real learning happens. And then there's this other learning that it's like fun stuff to learn about, but it's not really that important. And guess what? Your kids come in with that messaging too. Your kids come in with that messaging too. And so it makes it really difficult for us to overcome that because we are thinking about this. Oh, if we don't have something that looks like school, then we're not really doing school. And if we're not really doing school, then we're not preparing our kids for success in their life and we're failing them. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And you typically, even me, when I first started homeschooling, I started that way too. I got a bunch of workbooks, I got a bunch of textbooks, I got a little desk, and I sat my 6-year-old down and I was like, okay, we're going to really learn now. This is exciting. First grade, we're going to really learn. And what I found is what most people find either right away or a couple months down the road, there's frustration. Everybody's frustrated. There's stress. Everybody's complaining. There could be crying, like in my case, where I was crying, he was crying, and level of love of learning just drops. Even if your kids, my kid had never been to school, but because I was box checking with him, his level of love of learning was dropping, and it was really frustrating, and I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do, and I was so stressed out because, man, I'm a teacher. I was a high school English teacher, and if I can't do this, then man, what's going on? I got to figure this out because obviously it wasn't him, it was me, right? So it causes a low love of learning. And that pressure, that stress causes us mamas and us papas to lose sleep. And we feel like we're failing our kids. We feel like we're not successful. The kids don't feel successful, especially if they have the box checking mentality. We were just talking about this today in our group mentoring for the Inspiring Lifelong Learning Program. The group mentoring session today was so great because we were just talking about how you can be unlearning or you can have this, but your kids don't, and vice versa. And so what happens is you've got this like competing mentality of your kids have box checking, but you're trying to unlearn it, but they're not. But then you have box checking, but they don't, like in my case, right? It's conflicting, right? It's conflicting. And so what happened, and the result of that is low love of learning. Well, when we have low love of learning, you guys, and we have kids that are constantly looking for boxes to check, what pages do I need to do today? what I need to do math, because if we don't do math, we're going to fail at life. If we don't read, oh, my kid's behind, I can't have him behind. That's going to mean I'm a failure and I'm not setting him up for success. And she's just going to, not be, she's going to resent me because she's not going to be prepared for the things she wants to do. And she's going to be like, Mom, why didn't you teach me this? Right? That's all of our fears. But when they're box checking, this is the box they're learning in. It's what we're learning now, how we're learning it, and what tools we're using it, and when we're learning, right? That's the box checking mentality. And when we box check, we feel good about ourselves because we remember the box checking. We remember that experience in school, and we get that like woo woo, right? And our kids feel, if they've got the box checking mentality, they feel good because they've done their boxes. They've checked their boxes. They did a good job, right? But what do they think about learning? Usually, box checkers think learning is, this is the important stuff. This is my learning time. This is how I learn in my textbooks, my workbooks, my classes, my yada yada. And this is the stuff I like to learn about, right? And it's not that important. It's just for fun, right? So there's learning time, and there's learning that's, it's not real learning. It's just whatever. It's just for fun, right? So what happens is, long term, our kids end up looking consistently for those boxes to check. They're looking for those boxes to check. And guess what, you guys? Okay, give me a hands up if that's you. Give me a hands up if that's you. Just in your minds, know that, like, oh, I love my boxes. I love to have boxes to check. Some of us are like that. We're all kind of like that in one way or another, but some of us are really like that. Like, that makes us fulfilled. That makes us feel like we're accomplishing things. We love our boxes. And what happens is that a lot of times, and almost every time we raise box checkers, we are raising kids who look for boxes to check throughout their life. Is that what a leader does, or is that what a follower does? A follower is asking, I need a box. I need a box. I need a box. Somebody give me a box. Give me a box to check. A leader goes out and says, I'm going to make some boxes, man. I'm going to break out the boxes, and I'm going to throw the boxes in the garbage, and then I'm going to innovate. And I'm going to move things forward and solve problems and be creative and innovative. Isn't that, who's with me that that is like what you want for your kids? I know that that's what I wanted for my son. That's what I still want for my son. And we get to experience that every day, which is so, so exciting. So the result is really either choosing to be a box checker and followers, and that's kind of that culture that we normally gravitate to, because that's our society. It's not anybody's fault. That's just what our experience has been. It's our thinking, and we have to combat that and overcome it. There's very, very few people that I've ever met that naturally are not box checkers for education, because that is the traditional mentality, right? And typically, if they are not box checkers, they were homeschooled, or they've done a lot of work to overcome that in their own life already, right? If that sounds like you, let's chat, because the key to the love of learning culture is a lot of implementation of little things, okay? I'm going to share with you the key today. The key to overcoming all of that and making sure that we're raising leaders, and making sure that we have out of the box thinking, and that we know that we have a love of learning culture. And so if it sounds like you, and you're like, oh man, I'm such a box checker, I need to get out of this, let's chat. I'm going to put my link in the comments, in the show notes, and it's in YouTube as well. Please contact me. Let's chat. Let's figure out how to get you out of that, because this is my jam. This is what I love to do, you guys. It's so awesome. And we just had the most amazing chat today with our Inspiring Lifelong Learning members, and they are so getting there. I'm so excited. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, what is the key? Okay, you ready? Stop what you're doing. Get out your Post-it notes and write this down, because this is going to be something you want to put everywhere to remind yourself that this is our focus. This is what we're doing. And if this is what we're doing, You have it's you got to overcome that educational should. It's in there. It's so deep. It's like, it's you have to unlock it and you have to keep unlocking it and keep reframing and keep reframing, and this will help you do that. So what is that key? What is that key? The one key that is creating that love of learning culture. The key to that culture is one of my mantras. You guys know my mantra. What are my mantras? Mantras are homeschooling is learning through life, right? And this is the key. This is the key. Are you ready? This is the second mantra. What is it? You guys know what it is. Learning happens everywhere all the time. Did you write that down? I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. Learning happens everywhere all the time. One of our members said that this morning, Jen. She was so amazing. She's like, I'm starting to really get out of that thinking to where I'm constantly thinking about, oh, learning's here, learning's there, learning. Oh, this is a learning opportunity. Oh, this is a learning opportunity. And I was so proud of her. She's really doing a great job of doing that. And learning happens everywhere all the time. If you are consistently sending that message in your activities, in everything that you do in life with your family, that will get you that love of learning culture. Learning happens everywhere all the time. Did you guys write that down? I hope you wrote that down. Get out your post-it note if you're trying to multitask, and write that down. It is so important, you guys. But guess what? It's really hard to overcome. Super hard. And the more box checking we have in our background, and the more it's been in there, if our kids have been to school and they have that mentality, it's really hard to overcome that. And it's so easy to fall back in there. Oh, I just want to do a little box checking. I just want to do a little box checking. And yes, I will admit there is some boxes we have to check for high school and some state requirements, but caveat, it doesn't have to look like what you think it looks like in a regular school. It doesn't have to look like what you know is traditional learning. It doesn't have to look like that at all. At all. We can talk about that. So make sure you get in touch with me. I had to overcome that. You guys, it took me 6 solid years to overcome that thinking, that educational should, that box checking. And I had to keep reminding myself, learning happens everywhere all the time. Learning happens everywhere all the time. Learning happens everywhere all the time. And it's so hard to keep in your mind, but you really, really have to keep that in your mind. And you just have to keep telling yourself it's okay. It's okay. And so what happened with our story is that oh my gosh, it took me so long. Well, one, I'm a teacher, so I had extra box checking mentality, right? So be coming from the classroom. And then my husband's also a teacher. He's still in the classroom. So coming home with box checking mentality, and I'm like, stop. I'm trying to get rid of that, right? Is so, so important. And the key, I'm trying to think to myself, learning happens everywhere all the time. You guys, I didn't even say that in my mind because I didn't know that back then. But that's kind of the idea I had from what I was learning and just what I was trying out. And I didn't even have that mantra. So I think you've got one step ahead on me already by just knowing that mantra. I mean, I wish I had even had that just in that one liner in my mind that I could just say that. That would have been so transformational. But you guys, when you unlearn that, when you're sending the message, that key to that love of learning culture, learning happens everywhere all the time, that becomes what you do. It's just what we do. If you haven't gone back and listened or watched the episode where I had my son on that was talking about the lifelong learning results, look at that. Check out that replay, check out that episode. And I asked him, what are the things that, we do to, how did we create that culture? And of course, he's 15. He's not, I knew that was going to throw him for a loop, but he's like, I don't know. It's just what we do. Yeah, that's it. It's just what we do. It's just what we do. But man, overcoming that was hard. And it wasn't without failure. Let me tell you that. It wasn't without failure. But we just created that culture and we kept creating that culture. And now I don't have to direct him much. He has creates his own schedule. He goes and he looks up stuff. He researches on his own. He taught himself how to code Python. He's creating an AI security system. He through coding, he's researching that. He's writing a book, he's writing articles, he's do oh my gosh. Like, it's crazy. He comes to me with questions. You get these questions and he asks like, "Can I write an article about this?" Yeah. Okay. Can I want to research this. So I just kind of went on this little tangent here and I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We have to kind of like make sure we get our priorities right." But he's got that down. It's like a rabbit trail he just follows. He gets inspired. I'm curious about that. And then we go down this trail. He says, I've got this problem in scouts because he's right now the leader of his scout troop. And so he's like, I've got this problem where some of the kids are da da da. And I've been reading about leadership and with if I how do I get them, how do I create and send the vision that's our message about what we and raise them up as leaders. And I'm like, what 15-year-old talks like that? I do not know. Just this morning, Jen was so great in our group mentoring, and she said, "Oh, I'm starting to get that, and my daughter's asking me to do math because she's really having a lot of fun with it." And I was like, "That's great!" And I'm so proud. We also had Savannah in the group this morning, and she's getting that unthinking, and she's starting to learn that. And then she's like, "Oh my gosh," she's in that place where she's like, "Yeah, I got to teach that to my kids too." And she's ready to give her kids ownership over that because she's got older kids, and that they can take ownership over that. And I'm so proud of her for doing that because that's a lot. That takes a lot to give your kids ownership over that. But they have to be ready and you have to really make sure that you're sending that message. Learning happens everywhere all the time. And she got a revelation. I was so proud of her. She's so awesome. And so it's just what we do. So if you want to understand how to take that and implement it into your family and really create that culture where learning happens everywhere all the time, we have to talk, okay? I know I say this all the time, but it really is true. Everyone has a different family situation. Everyone has different ages of kids. Jen has she's a 6-year-old she's working with. Span has 4 kids that she's working with, and they're all different ages. So, that's why would they be the same age? Of course. They're all different ages. But anywho, anywho, everyone has a different situation and everyone's starting from a different place of box checking mentality that educational should, right? So let's talk and let's figure out where you are and what's the next step there because you guys, this is my passion. I am on a mission to change the way we view education. And if you imagine a world where everyone learned everywhere all the time, what? What? We'd have so many leaders. We'd have so much innovation. We'd have so much creativity. We'd have less conflicts. We'd have, oh my gosh, it would be incredible. I'm on a mission to do that, you guys. I know your kids can do that. I know you can be there, but it does take a lot. There are a lot of elements to think about and to transform in sending that message. So we have to get together and we have to talk because that's what the Inspiring Lifelong Learning Program does. That's the whole point of it, you guys. It helps you create that culture and environment where love of learning can stay consistently high and you can raise lifelong learners and leaders. That is what I created the Raising Leaders Roadmap for. The Inspiring Lifelong Learning is just the foundation. Once you create that culture, you can really dig in and really focus on teaching your kids leadership, having depth of learning to where they're really digging in and mastering academics and mastering learning and mastering how to learn and preparing themselves to go out in the world and do what's theirs to do in the world and solve the problem in their unique passions. You guys, that is what the Raising Leaders Roadmap is. But the first part is you got to get learning happens everywhere all the time. You have to create that culture. Oh, I'm so excited about this. You guys can, I hope you feel it on me because I am just so excited. We had such a blast this morning with our inspiring lifelong learning members. And I just love seeing that. Oh, that's what I'm doing. And that transformation. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like this. It's so great. It's so much fun. We have such a blast. So, anyway, if you are at all thinking that this is something you want to create and you're like, man, I'm kind of a box checker, or my kids are box checkers, or we're not at the level of love of, we're okay, but we're not at the level of love of learning that you're talking about and that I really want for my kids. Let's talk. Can always get better. We can always improve more. Let's just chat. Let's just figure out. I love chatting with you guys. It is like the best thing in the world because I love seeing where you all are at and your dreams and your goals and what you want for your kids, and then helping you'll walk away with some kind of nugget that you can do the next step. All right? I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited about this. The key to love of learning. What is it? What is it? That love of learning culture? The key to love of learning culture. Learning happens everywhere all the time. You guys got this. I want to see pictures of you posting in our Facebook group and on Instagram and just showing me those photos of your post-its all over your house. You guys got this. You can do it. I believe in you and I can't wait to chat with you. So make sure you schedule a call. Okay, bye-bye.